McCall's Motorworks, the Quail, Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion, Concourso Italiano, Legends of the Autobahn, and Exotics on Cannery Row. These are just some of the events leading up to one of the most celebrated annual automotive events in the world, the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. Each year, an astonishing array of hyper-fast, uber-exotic, and ultra-luxurious cars gathers on California's Monterey Peninsula in support of those festivities. Some of rarest.
Most wonderful vehicles are not sitting pretty on Concours lawns or running wild on track, but they are just lounging in parking lots and valet stands. Here are our favorites from this year's Monterey Car Week.
Mercedes-Benz 500e.
Before AMG became the official in-house go-faster department for Mercedes-Benz, Porsche worked with the German automaker to create the 500e of the early 1990s.
Considering the understated car's interesting story and the fact that my dad owned a 300e of the same body style, the Hammer always stops me in my tracks when I see it. Zach Gale.
Cadillac Alante.
Imagine it's the late 1980s or early 1990s, and you see this car, a Cadillac Alante. The Mercedes-Benz SL alternative of its day might not have fared so well.
But I still think its Pininfarina design has aged well, despite somewhat sizable front and rear overhangs.
So I was delighted when the day after I spotted this car its Italian design was recognized by the presence of 4 other Alantes at the Concourso Italiano event.
Nissan Pulsar.
The Nissan Pulsar NX is a modular wonder fit for Inspector Gadget. Designed at the Nissan Design Institute in San Diego and sold in the US from 1987-90.
The Pulsar NX was capable of 4 different configurations: coupe, targa, cabriolet.
Sportbox shooting brake by simply removing roof panels or swapping the entire rear canopy.
Porsche 911 Targa and 1941 Packard 110 wagon.
Which would you rather have, a 1968 Porsche 911 Targa or a 1941 Packard 110 wagon? Both were spotted at the parking lot of Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for the weekend's Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion.
The price difference between the two? Depending on who you ask and the condition of each vehicle, somewhere between a 2 to 10 times multiplier. Clean late 60s Porsche Targas can fetch between $100–200K, while patented to Concours-worthy pre-war Packard 110s go from the low teens up to $70,000.
AMG G554 x 4 squared.
When you're cruising around Pebble Beach during Concours weekend, car fans with fancy cameras are around every corner and are hoping to snipe a low-slung Pagani Huayra or vintage Ferrari 250 GTO.
So it's quite hilarious to go rumbling around town in the German monster truck that is the Mercedes-Benz G554 x 4 squared. Mercedes-Benz USA loaned this $225,000, 416 horsepower.
Portal-axled beast for Pebble Beach Week, and it was every bit as fun to drive as it looks. Really. Despite whopping 18 inches of ground clearance and extra-wide carbon fiber fenders. The 4x4 squared is not difficult to drive or park. The extra height gives the driver and passengers an excellent view of the traffic ahead, and the wide-eyed jaw drops of pedestrians and photographers alike.
Jaguar Sportex JR15.
Behold, the world's first full carbon fiber road car, the incredibly rare Jaguar Sportex JR15, just sitting out in front of the putting green at the lodge at Pebble Beach.
Only 53 models were ever made between 1990 and 1992 as a co-production of Jaguar Sport, the racing arm of Jaguar, and Tom Walkinshaw Racing.
The XJR15 was a street-legal homologation of the Le Mans winning XJR9 and featured a 450 horsepower V12 engine and 6-speed manual.
Motor Trend's Ron Grable did a road test of it back in 1992 and called it the best handling street car you can imagine. It should be. The original price of this racy Jag was nearly $1 million back in 1990.
Porsche 993 GT2.
And here is another sweet homologation special found in the valet stand of the inn at Spanish Bay, the very first Porsche 911 GT2, based on the 993 body style.
Only 57 were ever made, with engine outputs of between 424 and 444 horsepower from a twin-turbo, 3.6-liter boxer engine. Want one? It's going to cost you. A recent version went at auction for $970,000.
Ferrari 330 GT.
Ferrari 330 GT 2+2 with 4 headlights, seen at the Quail's golf course lot. About 25 years ago, I had a chance to buy a clean 330 the next town over for a lowball $25,000.
The Japanese economy had tanked and so had older Ferrari values, especially the unloved 4-headlight version of this Grand Touring Coupe.
But it needed some urgent rear suspension work and already parts were rare, so it would have tacked on another $10,000 to my immediate costs.
That Ferrari today would be worth 10 times that original purchase price. Coulda. (1966) Renault 16.
Sitting atop the hill in parking lot 8 at Mazda Raceway and proudly bearing the 1966 European Car of the Year sticker on the windscreen.
This stunning 5-door is the property of Ray and Carla Neerlich of Salinas, California.
It carries a 1470cc motor, shared with the Lotus Europa, and because of its 4-on-the-tree transmission, it is basically theft-proof, no matter how cool it is.
Sharp-eyed folks will notice the side body panels are not cut the same. That's because it has unequal length wheelbases for each side.